Hey there, it's DeGranny, and I'm back uh, with my final deck analysis. Uh, this is being uploaded the day it's being posted. Usually, I like to record en masse and then upload later. However, I didn't get to record on Saturday for anything because I was busy doing a fundraising car wash for a friend's family. My friend recently passed away, and we were trying to help raise money for a funeral. And we raised over $10,000 on a single car wash just taking donations, which was ridiculous. I've never raised that much money in one car wash or anything. So that was kind of cool. Um, I do have a few notes to put out. I will get some more packs, and I will open some more packs soon. That'll be kind of cool. Hopefully, we can get some good pulls. Next is if anybody has a deck analysis, since this is my last one, and they want me to analyze their deck for them, I can do that. You'll just have to send me the deck list. I am able to do that. I will play test your deck, run it, and see which way I'd like to run it and make suggestions to that. So if you have a deck, just private message me, and I can do that for you. Also, I did pre-order Dragons Exalted booster box, so hopefully we can get that, and then I can open that. And I'm going to the Dragons Exalted pre-release this coming Saturday. I'm really excited for that. This will be my first one. I'm going to try and record my openings there, but since this is my first one, I might not do it, just so I can see how the pre-releases work and just see how fast I have to move and stuff like that. So I might just kind of wait, and then I will do it the second time I go to a pre-release, just so I know how to do it. And if I don't record there, I will show my cards in a later video of what I got. So hopefully that'll be fine too. So no matter what, you'll get to see my cards anyway. And after all that, I think that's all I have for now. If I remember anything else that needs to be said, it'll be in my description. Also, I am doing my Nuzlocke again. I finally started it again. I haven't been playing in a while. There has been a death, so that might be exciting if you're wanting to know. So after all this deck analysis, I don't know when the next video will be for a booster pack or something, so just stay tuned and I'll let y'all know. So let's get to the deck analysis, and this time it'll be Darkrai. So this is my complete deck list that I'm running with this deck. Um, as you can see, it's not just sole Darkrai, as I don't have a lot of Darkrai's. There are some other Pokemon with it. I am running 14 Pokemon. And then I'm running 22 item cards, and that's counting the 2 stadium cards, so 20 item, 2 stadium. And then I'm running 9 supporters in this deck, so I would have to run some receivers. 3 double colorless, and 12 darkness energy. With this deck, I really like this deck. This is probably my favorite deck I have. So we're going to go ahead and get started on the Pokemon so we can figure out how this deck is run with the extra Pokemon in it. So these are the 14 Pokemon I like to run in this deck. I'm going to show you how I run these different Pokemon with Darkrai that I feel necessary. So let's go ahead and start. I run 3 Zoruas. These are the Ascension Zoruas from Dark Explorers. 69 out of 108. 69. And I only run 3 because I have 3 Zoroarks. I find it fit just right. I was running 4 at one point, and I just found I kept pulling an extra Zorua that I really never needed. So, and then I'd never pull any cards to get rid of that Zorua, so I just had that in my hand a lot. or I might have played it by accident, and then it just gets killed really easily. So there was no point in it. So these three Zoruas are only in this deck for Ascension. I don't really use Scratch at all. And Ascension lets me bring out an Evolution to Zorua, which is only Zoroark. I'm running 3 Zoroarks, 2 Brutal Bash, Dark Rush Zoroarks. These two, the first attack for a DCE does 20 times the amount of Darkness Pokemon I have in play. So it could be a total of 120. And then Dark Rush does 20 times the amount of damage counters on this Pokemon. So that could be a max of 180 if there was 9 damage counters on it. So this Zoroark I find really well as a good attacker when you need him every now and then. Zoroarks are always pretty decent attackers. And the last card I have is the Shiny Foul Play Zoroark. It has 2 attacks. The first one, Nasty Plot, doesn't do anything. It just lets you search your deck for a card and put it into your hand. You don't have to show your opponent that card at all. So that card could help getting out Energy, getting out a Darkrai, a Mewtwo, getting out any card at all. The next attack is Foul Play. For a DCE, you can choose any one of your opponent's defending Pokemon's attack. So it has to be the defending Pokemon, and you can use it as that attack. So this used to be really well known to go up against a Reshiram deck, because you could knock it out on its own with Blue Flare if you had to, because then you don't have to discard any fire energy. So I see a Zoroark like this really well, and it matches up against a Mewtwo pretty well, as you can use X-Ball against itself and do some pretty good damage. So I find that really necessary. I run 3 Sableyes. Sableyes are in here mainly for Junk Hunt. I get rid of item cards pretty quickly, usually with this deck, and you can use Junk Hunt to bring back whatever you need. You can bring back a catcher, you can bring back Dark Patches, Enhanced Hammer, anything like that. So I find Junk Hunt really well, because sometimes you're going to need a catcher, and you can just Junk Hunt, get that catcher back, and you'll need that catcher next turn, as long as your opponent doesn't play in. So that card right there is really nice. I really like Sableye's Junk Hunt ability. Next, I run 2 Tornadus EX, 1 full art, 1 regular art. These are both one of a set, so I don't have any other ones like it. They have 2 attacks. The first one for DCE, it's called Blow Through, and if there's any Stadium card in play, this attack does 30 more damage for a total of 60 damage. And the next attack is Power Blast for 3 colorless energies. You flip a coin, and if tails, you discard an energy attached to this Pokemon, and this attack will always do 100 damage. So this card is really nice as long as you have a Stadium in play, usually. I mainly use it for Blow Through. Sometimes I'll attack with Power Blast. I really like this card. It's really good for if you're going to try to get a donk on some Pokemon at the very start. Hopefully you might be able to. I've never been able to do it, as I always end up getting the right cards I need, and then I don't get to go first, so I can't donk because they'll set up. Next, I run 1 Mewtwo EX. I'm thinking about running another one. I haven't decided yet. This deck could be really good with another Mewtwo, but I haven't found it necessary just yet. It has 2 attacks, but the only attack I use is X-Ball, so I'm not going to go over Side Drive. X-Ball does 20 times the amount of energy attached to Mewtwo and the defending Pokemon. So that attack can get very powerful if both Pokemon have a lot of energy on it. And next I have 2 Darkrai EX, 1 full art and 1 regular art. You've probably seen me pull both of these from the booster packs and my booster box opening. If you don't remember the Darkrai, just go back to my Dark Explorers booster box opening and listen for the screams, because there was a lot of screams on that card, because it was just insane. We did not expect that one at all. So this card has an ability. It's called Dark Cloak. Each of your Pokemon that has any darkness energy attached to it has no retreat cost. So that works out really well. So I can get Mewtwo out of there, I can get Sableye out of there, I can get Zoroark out of there pretty quickly, without having to discard any darkness energy. But sometimes is a hassle because you might need to discard the darkness energy in order to dark patch it onto a Darkrai or anything like that. Next, it has an attack called Night Spear, and for 2 darkness and 1 colorless energy, it does 90 damage and 30 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So this card is really good, as you can snipe off cards on your opponent's bench as well. I like it really well. It matches up really well against the Zeal deck. The Zeal deck that I run, I haven't been able to beat this deck right here. I've been playtesting either myself, which is kind of lame, I know, but there's just sometimes I don't have anybody to play with, and I'm an only child, so nobody can help me out. Or my girlfriend, her deck of choice is my Zeal deck because that's the only deck she really knows, and she really likes the Zeals, but she has a hard time beating this deck, as I have a hard time beating it myself. So that's alright. This deck is my favorite deck to run, as I've stated. It is my best deck I probably have too, so I really like it. So now we're just going to move on to the trainers and supporters. See ya. Okay, so these are the trainer cards I like to run in this deck. This is my second time recording it, and this is my third redo I've had to do today. My parents keep interrupting my video. I was all the way done with this video too, and then I was all the way done at Juniper, and my parents interrupted, and I was like, you've got to be kidding me. But let's just get back, and I'll have to redo it. I run 2 Sky Arrow Bridges in this deck. These cards are mainly for Tornadus EX, as I like to power up Blow Through to 60. More attack equals more power, and you really need that nowadays, especially with good EX cards like that. Next, I run 3 catchers. I've found, after playtesting my fire and my fighting deck that don't have catchers in it, that these cards are essential, and you must use these cards like completely. If you don't, you're almost done for. So I really like catchers for this deck, especially because like you can bring out cards that you can just snipe and kill off. I run 3 enhanced hammers for the Mewtwo War or a Tornadus War or something like that. Just I got to get rid of the DCE somehow, and I find enhanced hammer better than crushing hammer, because crushing hammer you have to roll, and sometimes the roll doesn't work out for you. Next, I run 3 Ultra Balls. Ultra Balls are pretty good for this deck, as you can get rid of Dark Energy and to use a Dark Patch to get it back. I find Ultra Ball amazing, just so I can get out Darkrai or a Mewtwo or anything like that. That's mainly how I use Ultra Ball. Next, I run 2 Eviolites. These are usually put onto my Mewtwo or Tornadus. Occasionally, I'll have to put it onto a Darkrai depending the situation. But that's hardly ever, because I use a different card for Darkrai usually. So I really like Eviolites, reducing the attack by 20. Eviolites are just pretty darn amazing. Then I run 3 Dark Claws. These cards I usually throw down on a Zoroark or Darkrai himself, because it makes Dark Pokemon's attacks 20 damage more. And I find that awesome, because a Night Spear can then become 110 instead of 90, and the more damage is almost essential nowadays with the high EX basic Pokemon. It's just getting out of hand sometimes. Next, I run 3 reverse Dark Patches. This is pretty cool. These are pretty expensive now, because Dark Patches are almost essential in a Dark deck, just so you can get Darkness energy back from the discard, and you can set up faster. I've used these cards a lot, and I've even gotten a few turn 2 Darkrai's, and my opponent just becomes like amazed, like, oh my god, this is going to be a long battle. Dark Patch is an amazing card. I really like it. Next, I have 3 random receivers. I use these 3 random receivers because I only run 9 supporters, and it helps me get out my supporters much faster. Usually 9 is a pretty decent number for supporters, but random receiver helps me get them out if I have the wrong ones or I need a supporter. So I find it really good to run nowadays. Next, I have 2 Silence. These cards I only use if I'm low on dark energy or have none at all, and I need to get set up for a few turns, so I'll play it and get 3 dark energies out and run him like that. Next is my essential 3 ends. As you can see, my normal. N is an amazing card, making you and your opponent shuffle your hand back into your deck and drawing the Mina Price cards. It's a really good card at the end of the game, making your opponent have to get like 1 or 2 cards from their deck. That's mean, but it's good for yourself. I really like N. N is almost essential in every deck. I've been saying that since the very first deck I ran, but you must run N. If you don't, you might want to try considering it because it is a great card. Next, I run 4 Junipers. Junipers are really good for this deck because you can get rid of darkness energy that way. Sometimes you'll have cards in your hand that you don't want to get rid of though, and it's just, do I get rid of it? Do I need new cards? What are the stipulations here? And sometimes you have to get rid of your hand. Like, you might have 2 dark patches in your hand, and you just got to remember, I run Sableye, and Sableye can get those dark patches back. So I hope you enjoyed this video of my Darkrai deck analysis. This is my favorite deck. I wreak havoc. I go to League, and when I go to League, I almost go undefeated. I lose maybe 1 game at League, and that's just because I get unlucky that game or something like that. But now that I'm running the second Darkrai in here, I think I will probably start winning a lot more matches. So thank you for watching. Stay tuned for this week as I'll be opening some packs. And until then, gig 'em.